Well, the late summer flowers are in bloom. We're up here at one of the out yards, just getting ready to put some escape boards on. And this field is absolutely packed full of flowers. So this field is completely full of this flower here. It's called bee balm. I guess that's the slang term for it, but if you look out here, you can see it is absolutely everywhere. This field was planted in pollinator mix about 3 or 4 years ago. A lot of cone flowers coming up in the last couple weeks. I saw the bees working on these a couple weeks ago when I was here. Looks like they're still hitting them though. Take a look at the hives real quick. Everything seems to be in good order and right where it's supposed to be. Plenty of bees coming in and out the front door. That's a good sign. Hey, welcome back. We're out here in one of the out yards today, checking out some colonies, and we're going to put some bee escapes on. Uh, don't have a ton of honey here because I was doing so many splits. This yard was pretty much dedicated to just splitting and growing, but towards the I don't know, first week of July or so, the nectar started coming in so fast that I had to do something. Even though I was splitting, I had to put some supers on. So they were bringing in so much nectar, I had to do something, or they were going to get plugged out. So I'm going to go through here today, put some bee escapes on the supers that are ready to harvest, and get ready to probably pull some honey in about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. So what I really got to do first is go through these, and not all of them have queen excluders on. Some of them just needed space, so I threw a super on them just to give them space. So I got to find the ones with queen excluders, which this one does here, and this one here both have them. So we'll just go through pallet by pallet and figure out which supers are ready to harvest. We'll stack them up, put an escape on, and call it a day. This colony here has two full supers that are capped. Well, let me take that back. The ones on the end here don't look capped. That's what we're working with here in the middle. So this is a 9-frame box, and that one's not capped, but this one is. So 8 out of 9. So pretty good. The top box was completely capped. Don't know what to expect here. This box is also completely capped. You can see, nicely capped honey. So this hive did 3 boxes. This was an early split. And they got their first super back at the beginning of July. When I do this, I pull the, man, these guys are hostile. I pull the queen excluder off. I put the bee escape on. Here's my bee escape. We'll put an excluder, or sorry, escape on it, and put it back together. They're doing the bump thing where they let you know they're not happy you're here. Now I got to cover up these holes and make sure there's no cracks, because I don't want this getting robbed out. Some of these supers have a hole drilled in them from years ago, and I used to try to do the upper entrance, and when you put a bee escape on, they will other bees will rob it out with those little entrance holes. So you really want to face them all forward so you don't miss one, and you want to tape them up. So there's nothing in this. This is looks like the bees did a lot of repair work here. These were old beat up combs. You can see the fresh wax where they're doing repair work. A little bit of nectar up here, but not really. Nothing to speak of. Check this other box. You can see here, nice. A little bit open on this side. This one's capped. There might be a few openings here. I'm not too concerned about that. This super's been on here for a month. Pretty confident that honey's dried down. So I'll grab another bee escape here. Pop it on. Try to minimize the cracks. This is the kind of hive where I might put a another super on it from a different colony, because I don't have that many bee escapes. So sometimes this time of year I'll add I'll combine supers. All right. See some capped honey in here for sure. Don't know if they're full framed capped. Looks like they're pretty good. Middle ones here are capped. Partially capped on the edges, but full. So we'll put this one in the harvest mix. Oh yeah, it's not extremely heavy, but it's got some good weight. Same thing here, pretty much capped, all capped on this side, a little bit open on the bottom, just a few cells. Frames next to it seem to be the same. This looks like a pretty full box of honey. Put on the escape. Super's back on. That's pretty much how I do it. I realize there's probably some people watching this that may not even know what a bee escape is. So let me show you real quick if that's you. This is what it looks like on one side. This is the other. So you put the honey supers above this. The boxes that have the capped honey that you're going to harvest, you put on top of this. The bees eventually need to go down. They'll go through this hole. So these bees will work their way through this little maze here, come out one of these corners, and then they'll be back in the main hive. And what that does is it clears out that honey super. So when I come back to harvest it, there's very few bees in there, which is extremely helpful. So I don't have to brush off frames or smoke them out or blow them out, stuff like that. I can generally just pick up the box with the capped honey in it that's above this bee escape and put it in the truck, with very few bees being in the honey super, and it makes it a whole lot easier. So that's what these are. That's why we put them on there. I was a little concerned today when I opened that first box and they got a little bit aggressive, but everything I've opened since then has been completely normal. So this is mostly open, maybe 50-50, and that's mostly open. Same here, they've got this full with mostly pollen. Yeah, so this one won't be, I won't be harvesting this one. Sometimes you get good ones, sometimes you get one like this that you're not going to harvest. So we'll drop an escape on this one here and let them keep doing their thing on that other super. All right, so that's pretty much done. I didn't film all of it because it can get a little boring sometimes if you're just going hive to hive, but basically what I did at the beginning with these first hives, I just kind of worked my way down and did that along the way. So you can see the bee escape here uh, above the bottom box. So let's see here, 4 here. And then we got 2 here, that's 6. We got 3 there, that's 9. And 3 on the right is 12. So total of 12 supers that were, uh, 80% capped or better. And that'll give us a little bit of honey to harvest. Like I've said before, the purpose of this yard this year was not to harvest honey, although this is an amazing spot for it. My goal was to expand, and that's what I did. And we're slowly building up this bee operation. And we'll collect a little honey. We'll give most of it away. We'll sell some of it. But generally speaking, it was just, I had to put some supers on them when the nectar flow got so heavy. Now, I'm sure everyone has a different opinion on this, but this is what I use. Like the black Gorilla Tape. And this is 3M, but same stuff. I have used painter's tape in the past, and I've come back and found it chewed off, or water gets behind it if we get a lot of storms, and had it fall off. So I like to use this. It's pretty strong. And you also need to take your gloves off. Learned that before too. This stuff will just stick to your gloves and creates a major pain when you're trying to put it on. Usually something like that works good, but I always overkill everything. And I just look at the corners, looking for gaps, cracks along the side, anything that might let something sneak in. You got to check all sides too. You got to check this side over here and just make sure, because where you don't see a crack over there, it's usually where you can't see very well is where you'll see a little crack, and they will chip their way in there if there's any kind of crack and rob these supers out. So something like this corner here, you got to be suspicious of it. You got to get down and look and make sure there's not a gap there. This one, there's really not. There's a tiny little gap, but just to be safe, I'll put a little piece there. Now here's a great example. You see the lid where they're coming in and out? Once this super clears out, this is an entry point for bees to come in and rob. So definitely tape that up. Tape this bottom one here where there's this little crack. I'm gonna get a smoker and smoke them back in before I do that. One thing with this tape, if you're only doing it for a couple days, it comes right off. Now if you're leaving it on here for a week or something, then you're gonna have an issue. Or a couple weeks, especially if it gets hot. Probably been here about an hour since I parked the truck. Got 12 supers ready to go. I think 5 escapes on right now. Everything's taped up. Generally, the bees look great. There must be something going on right now because they are out foraging like crazy. That first hive was a little bit jumpy when I opened them, but the rest of them, they've all been great. So uh, not bothering me at all. They're not bothered that I'm in the hive right now, which is great because we're the beginning of August here, and a lot of times in Michigan where we're at, that's when the dearth kicks in hard and the bees get a little crabby. But clearly there's a flow, and they're gathering nectar and pollen like crazy right now. So made my day easy. We're gonna come back in about 4 days and pull these supers. We'll hit a video on that, and then we're gonna harvest the honey for the year. We've got honey at the house as well that I can pull from. So we'll gather up all the honey we got, and we'll pull it and get it extracted and see what we got for the year, and then it's on to prepping for fall and mite treatments. So thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching the video today. Take care.